So today's class is about the overview of the working of the CNS, right? So we'll start with what are our objectives for the class. So before that, do you find any resemblance in the structure of the brain that you see here and what do you see in this picture? Of course, we know that brain is composed of neurons. इतना हमें पता है अभी तक, right? So, do you find any resemblance between this picture that I put here and does it look like a tree? Right? So, tree में if a tree has to grow, which part do you think is the most important part? किसी भी पेड़ में सबसे important part कौन सा? The roots, right? So, roots जितने गहराई तक पहुंचेंगे पेड़ उतना ही अच्छा बनेगा, right? So our brain has a very similar pattern of functioning. So this part that you see here, this core or internal part of the brain which sits on top of the spinal cord, this part is similar to the root, and all our basic life processes. When I say basic processes of life, survival processes, I mean the working of the cardiovascular system. I mean the working of the respiratory system, basic instincts like feeding, thirst, all of this are governed from this part of the brain, right? The survival related processes are governed from the internal core of the brain, which we broadly refer to as the brainstem, and the cerebral cortex. This part is the latest to develop in the evolutionary time scale. Lower animals में this part is not as developed as in human beings, but this core is almost very similar in all forms of animal life, right? तो जितना ज़्यादा evolution में advanced beings you consider, cerebral cortex उतना ज़्यादा developed है. Cerebral cortex specifically governs our higher cognitive functions like reasoning, logic, memory, intelligence and all of this. But remember, basic processes, logic, reasoning ना भी हो, one can still survive, है ना? अब आसपास देखोगे lot of people are surviving without any logic and reason, है या नहीं आसपास? But no one is surviving without a control on the heart, on the or say without eating, without drinking, all of this. So this scheme should be clear at the outset कि कौन से basic processes है, कौन से advanced cognition के processes हैं. So for this 1 hour we'll try to see what is the organization of the nervous system, functions के nervous system we will also see that, and if time permits we'll cover the neurotransmitter systems of the brain. So there are 3 competencies that we try to cover. So let's start with an example. कल रात को आप सो रहे थे सब लोग, है ना? You are all sleeping? No? एग्जाम के लिए पढ़ रहे थे, ओके. बट सोना इंपॉर्टेंट है लाइफ में, राइट? सो sleep seems like a very passive process कि सब कुछ बंद हो गया, बैटरी डाउन and the person is sleeping. But sleep is actually not a very passive process. There is a lot going on in the brain when the person is sleeping. So one example you can think of right now is, do you have dreams when you sleep? Nightmares, all of this, do you have? So dreaming is a phase of intense activity of the brain even when the brain seems to be passive. So no one is actually, even when the person is sleeping, there is a lot happening in the brain. So at some time, either by yourself or suppose you put an alarm, you get up. So after waking, what is the first thing you do? Hostel mein, what is the first thing that you do? Right? Anyone? So I assume all of you sleep in the supine position, right? Late case होते हैं सब लोग lying down. So you get up, you sit, and then what you do? You do some form of stretching. Yes or no? Starting में we have some form of stretching. So this stretching causes some change in the muscle lengths of the body as you do this simple thing. This helps the brain to get up. So as simple an activity as this, So there are neural circuits within the spinal cord, and then from where signals are conveyed to the brain, which helps you to become awake or wakeful. And then of course you start brushing your teeth. So I assume कि सब लोग brush करके आते हैं सुबह. So this is a very, although it is a habit for most of us, but if you think logically again, this is a very coordinated voluntary activity that you do. Voluntary activity, say what do we mean? Anyone? Voluntary activity? So any activity which we can control by our own will or volition. So voluntary activity, so brush लेके पहले हाथ में हम लोग उठा रहे हैं ऐसे, and then we start doing this maneuver, right? So what are the joints that is involved? There is some movement in the shoulder joint, right? Some movement in the elbow joint, flexion in the elbow joint, and then as a whole there is a movement again in the shoulder joint. You keep brushing your teeth. So when we think of simple motor activities like this, can this happen without any sort of planning? No. So even an activity like some of your writing, so you're holding your hand like this, right? I can see some people turning pages, you're moving your hands like this, he's sitting like this. So all movements that you can think of involves multiple joints, and for bringing movements in multiple joints, you have to move, you have to contract certain muscles and relax certain muscles. हर एक joint पे there is an agonist muscle and there is an antagonist muscle. Elbow joint, if I consider, biceps muscle causes flexion, triceps muscle causes extension, right? Now if I have to make this position of my upper limb, so flexion चाहिए हमें, not extension. So for any desired movement, the agonist muscle should contract and antagonist should relax. दोनों एक साथ अगर contract, then we will not meet our desired activity or desired movement. So this is just to give you an idea that a lot of planning goes on in the brain for the simplest of activities. और sequence बहुत important है. पहले shoulder होगा, फिर elbow होगा, all of this. So sequence also is important. So all of this happens from certain areas of the brain which are involved in planning. Planning के बाद, once an algorithm is formed, this is given to some other part of the brain which executes, right? So execution के बाद, how does execution happen? From the brain, signals are conveyed to the spinal cord by a set of long neurons. We call them as nerve bundles or tracts. Spinal cord में this set of neurons end. So these are upper motor neurons. Now there is a synapse and a fresh set of neurons from the spinal cord. They arise, they come out of the spinal cord through the intervertebral foramina and they reach the muscles. Lower motor neurons. तो ये एक आइडिया है कि कितना कुछ चल रहा है ब्रेन में एंड स्पाइनल कॉर्ड में when we're in the simplest of activities. So do you think in इस बीच में feedback important है? Should the brain receive feedback कि how much has been correctly executed? Is it important? It is important. Say I am walking right now. So a simple activity like walking in a straight line, or say just standing straight. So to maintain balance, either in standing straight or walking, सोल में जो हमारे प्रेशर रिसेप्टर्स हैं, how much pressure receptors are detecting pressure, so that information should go to the brain, right? So in a moment to moment basis, how much of the motor activity has been properly executed, the brain receives the feedback, and then if there is an error कि plan हमारा ये था but feedback कह रहा है कि this has happened actually, so there is an error. Now brain also has a system of correcting these errors. This is majorly done by the cerebellum. So function of the cerebellum is one, balance, and then error correction, right? Think about how many of you can drive vehicles. I can see two hands only. Now few more hands. तो ड्राइविंग जब स्टार्ट हो रहा है, नाउ बिकॉज यू आर एबल टू ड्राइव, योर फोकस इज ऑन द रोड कि सामने क्या है. बट हाउ इज इट दैट यू नो एग्जैक्टली हाउ मच टू रोटेट द स्टीयरिंग व्हील, है ना? ये चीजें रिफ्लेक्स लेवल पे चल रही है. सो दिस ऑल ऑफ दिस रिफ्लेक्स मूवमेंट्स आर गवर्न्ड बाय द सेरिबेलम. तो फायदा ये है, the cerebral cortex can focus on the road ahead and react accordingly, right? So learning all of this motor patterns again is a function of cerebellum. Now this is, so let us go a step ahead. So you are brushing, but then you remember you have a class from 9 and you are getting late. Then what happens? Anxiety, stress, and you run towards the LT. So situation wise, there is a part of our nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, which can react to certain states like this, right? Sympathetic nervous system is the system which deals with fight or flight situations, right? जब आप दौड़ के आ रहे हो, suppose on the road you see a snake, so you will be scared again. Sympathetic nervous system moment to moment basis पे it modifies not only the motor activities but also the visceral functions of the body, starting from your heart rate, right, respiratory rate, all of these things. जितने भी visceral functions हैं, they can all be and they are regulated by the autonomic nervous system. So let's say you barely managed कि 9 बजे आप किस तरह से पहुंच गए, you have a sigh of relief. So activity of the sympathetic nervous system comes down gradually, all the changes revert back to normal, and then you have a pleasant emotion, you made it, you feel happy. How do you feel happy? So there are neurotransmitters within the brain which help you feel this emotions. So emotion also is an aspect of the CNS. हर एक emotion के लिए there is a specific circuit within the brain and there is a specific neurotransmitter system within the brain. Suppose you have a PCT right now, biochemistry, next class. So you're writing, right? So you are very happy कि जितना हमने पढ़ा था सब आ गया. But then suppose answers जिसमें कुछ और मिला and now you have stress. You're not happy with the marks. So again now you feel sad, right? So sadness again is an emotion. सैडनेस के लिए अलग ट्रांसमीटर से, अलग इमोशंस, अलग सर्किट से ब्रेन में, राइट? सो दिस आर जस्ट एग्जांपल्स टू गिव यू एन आइडिया कि कितने फंक्शंस है सीएनएस के, राइट? सो स्टार्टेड विथ स्लीप एंड वेकफुलनेस, देन वी वेंट टू द सेंसरी नर्वस सिस्टम. फ्रॉम द मोमेंट यू गेट अप, यू आर कंटिन्यूअसली डिटेक्टिंग सेंसेशंस. जैसे ही आपने आंखें खोली सुबह, your visual apparatus, your visual system starts, it is active. You are continuously seeing things. Right now you are listening to me speak. So sensations can either be spatial senses like vision, hearing and all of this. It can also be general sensations like pain, pressure, touch and all of this. Motor activities, motor functions, you have talked about this. Voluntary activities and as well as reflex activities which we are not consciously doing. Emotions, again a function of the nervous system. Learning and memory. तो again एग्जाम में बैठ के आप जितना लिख पा रहे हो, because you studied something, all this information was retained in some part of your brain. Where in the brain? In the synapses of the brain. So this is what is broadly learning and memory about. जितना हम एक एक्टिविटी बार बार कर रहे होते हैं, वी आर मॉडिफाइंग सम साइनेप्सेस. शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी मीन्स वी आर मेकिंग सम स्मॉल इंक्रीमेंटल फंक्शनल चेंजेस विद इन द साइनेप्सेस. बट लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी कौन सा है? स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज विद इन द साइनेप्स. से मोर नंबर ऑफ डेंड्राइट्स स्प्राउटिंग फ्रॉम द सेल बॉडी. दिस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज. स्पीच, all of us love speaking. Speech again is a very important, a different set of activities again. regulatory functions of the nervous system from the autonomic system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Basic urges and instincts. So sleep is already a basic urge. Apart from this, feeding ke liye you'll see in the class on hypothalamus, so many instincts are regulated from the brain. Higher cognition, I've already talked about this. Intelligence, all forms of intelligence, fluid and crystallized, reasoning, logic, all of this again is a function of the brain. And lastly, your sense of identity. Who am I? Did you ever ask yourself, who am I? या पता था कि मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. So even this basic thing, your sense of identity comes from your brain. And this again is of course a product of your long-term memory. So there are areas of the brain in the frontal lobe which give us the sense of identity. Dorsolateral prefrontal cortex gives us the sense of identity. Now there is what is a neuron? If I ask you, can anyone answer? Structural and functional unit of the nervous system, right? So दूसरा अगर मैं पूछूं, what is a nerve? What is a nerve? Anyone? Neuron और nerve में is there a difference or is it the same thing? Anyone from the back? Yes. Can you speak louder? I'm not able to. क्या बोला हूँ? Bundle of neurons. Very good. तालियां बजाओ इनके लिए. Correct. Most of the times. बस हो गया. This is a very important concept that all of you should remember. Neuron and nerve is not the same thing. Neuron is as he said, a unit. So it is a cell. And nerve, as he said correctly, it is a bundle of the neurons. More precisely, bundle of the axons of the neurons. This is what we see as a nerve fiber. So while doing dissection, all of you have seen the nerves, right? So जितना भी आपने nerve देखा है while dissection, these are all nerve fibers, bundle of axons. And cell bodies of these neurons, of this all these axons, if the cell bodies are within the CNS, we call them as nucleus. And if the cell bodies is beyond the ambit of the CNS, we call this ganglia, right? Chalo. It's a very important concept. So endocrine system already you are learning. So endocrine is one of the very important regulatory systems of the body. The other regulatory system is the nervous system. So two important aspects that I would like to highlight. Chalo. Nervous system में apart from the neurons, you also have one more cell, neuroglial cells or glial cells. So what are these glial cells? Nervous tissue is a elementary tissue of the body, like connective tissue एक है, muscle tissue एक है, वैसे ही nervous tissue, this is an elementary tissue. So tissue is a collection of cells. Neurons are the excitable cells. When I say excitable cells, that means neurons can respond to changes in the environment by producing certain changes in their membrane potential. वही change transmit होता है in the form of action potential. The other type of cell within the nervous tissue is glial cell or supporting cells. So if you see the numbers, you see the number of neuroglia is so many times more than the number of neurons. So anything which is this enormous in number, so it has to have a very important function. So glial tissue के बारे में we'll talk towards the end of the topic. Remember the supporting cells are very important. इसको आप हल्के में मत लीजिए कि support ही कर रहा है बस. They are supporting cells, not supporting actors. Right? Very important functions are there. Now in this diagram, you see the basic scheme of things. Afferent and efferent. There are two terms. All information that goes towards the brain, we call them as afferent. Right? So information flow towards the brain, we call them as afferent activity, and the neurons which take them are afferent neurons. So this can be sensory stimulus like pain, pressure, touch, temperature, all of this. It can also be from the visceral organs of the body. Say, after you take a meal, You feel your stomach getting distended. So an example like this distension of the stomach, visceral activity. You have read about the baroreceptors, yes or no? CVSP, you have read about baroreceptors. So these receptors are also detecting what? They are detecting the stretch. जितना ज़्यादा blood pressure होगा उतना ज़्यादा stretch होगा on the wall of the blood vessels. So from the visceral aspect of the body also sensations are carried to the brain. Baroreceptor is an example where from the ninth and the 10th nerve, it carries sensations from the which part? Carotid sinus and aortic arch to the center within the medulla, which is a part of the brain. So both general senses and visceral stimulus, they all go towards the brain. So brain interprets everything. It is the central integrating and processing center, and accordingly responses generated are conveyed to different aspects. So this is called as the efferent division. So efferent का मतलब है from the brain towards the peripheries. Somatic nervous system is concerned with the information reaching the muscles, skeletal muscles of the body. All forms of voluntary activity, right, starting from writing, sitting, right, talking, walking, everything are governed by the somatic nerves. So this is here. Autonomic nervous system is the other one, the other effector organ of the nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, and as you can see, they are governing the function of the smooth muscles, function of the cardiac muscle, and all exocrine glands. So exocrine glands you see in the GI tract, all from the secretion starting from the gastric glands, pancreatic glands, acini. So these are all glands which are governed by the autonomic nervous system. And a separate set of neurons also present in the digestive tract itself. Enteric nervous system. You have two plexus, Meissner's plexus and Peyer's plexus within the wall of the GI tract itself. So this is the third arm of the autonomic nervous system which directly responds to the stimuli of the GI tract. And because it is present within the tract, it can react instantaneously. Okay. So what are the parts of the brain? So we have seen the broad scheme of things, afferent, efferent, consonant. Now let us again go back to the parts of the brain. So broadly there are three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is also considered as the telencephalon. So I'll go to a slide. Let us see here. So we're talking about here brain, also called as encephalon. So you have prosencephalon, mesencephalon and rhombencephalon, right? Forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So these names you should remember, these are the technical names for the same three things. Now the forebrain or the prosencephalon has got two parts: telencephalon or the cerebrum and diencephalon or the interbrain. Cerebral cortex, cerebral white matter and basal ganglia. So these are the three components of the telencephalon or the cerebrum. Cerebral cortex, what do you understand? Cerebral cortex refers to the different lobes, frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobes of the brain, which is referred to as the cerebral cortex. Then you have some white matter. So दोनों cerebral hemispheres के बीच there has to be a connection. So all these connecting fibers are called as callosal fibers, commissural fibers when we talk of interhemisphere connection. And within a hemisphere, if say information needs to be conveyed from the posterior part to the anterior part of the brain, you have something called as the projection fibers. So long distance and short distance projection fibers are there. So these are all part of the forebrain or the prosencephalon. Basal ganglia is a set of nuclei just under the cerebral cortex, and these are concerned with movements. Automatic movements majorly, like an example I'll give you is when you walk, you swing your arms like this. So this simple movement, an automatic movement, is governed by basal ganglia. Coming to the midbrain, sorry, diencephalon. So diencephalon mein you have thalamus, hypothalamus. So thalamus ka main function, it is the sensory gateway to the cortex. All sensations reaching the cerebral cortex or reaching our conscious awareness goes through the thalamus. Hypothalamus, a plethora of functions starting from hunger and satiety to thirst to temperature and a lot of other things. Subthalamus, metathalamus, epithalamus, these three structures are concerned with motor activities and to some extent the different emotions. Midbrain is also called as mesencephalon. So midbrain is a part of your brain stem. Other two are metencephalon, also called as the pons, and medulla oblongata myelencephalon. So brain stem, as I said at the outset, brain stem is concerned with your survival instincts and basic life processes. So this picture gives you an idea कि कौन सा structure कहाँ पे है. Cerebral cortex, and this is where you find the thalamus, epithalamus, diencephalic structures. You can also see this one shown in purple here, callosum, corpus callosum. So callosal fibers convey information from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere. So this is the location of the cerebellum, right? And this is the brainstem. Cerebral cortex, if I say specifically, you will see the different lobes, functionally important. Frontal lobe concerned with our executive functions. Executive का क्या मतलब है? Decision making, right? Intelligence, all of this comes from the frontal lobe. Parietal lobe is receiving all sensations. So it is the site, this junction between the parietal, temporal and occipital lobe. This particular junction is a very important site where all sensations are integrated together, right? Occipital lobe concerned with the function of vision, and the temporal lobe is concerned with hearing on one aspect, and the other aspect is there are nuclei concerned with the memory, structures concerned with memory and learning and emotion, which are also present in the temporal lobe. This set of structures that you see here, this form the limbic system. Limbic system ka main function is emotions. There are other functions also, gradually we will come to know. So peripheral nervous system mein, that means beyond the spinal cord, what you have two sets of nerves, right? You have spinal nerves and cranial nerves. So spinal nerves which come out from the intervertebral foramina of the spinal cord. You have 31 pairs, 8 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 1 coccygeal. Cranial nerves come from the brain stem itself. So इसका जो origin है, that is present in different nuclei of the brain stem, midbrain, pons and medulla. Functional divisions, these terms you should be aware. Somatic nervous system, dealing with the somatic structures like your muscles, skin, receptors and all of this. Autonomic nervous system deals with the visceral structures. And in दोनों में there is an afferent and an efferent function. Cross section of the spinal cord. So next thing that you should know. I think this diagram you have also learned, you studied in school also. So spinal cord has got two projections, two horns. One dorsal horn and one ventral horn, right? So dorsal horn is this, which is mainly sensory, and the ventral horn is this, which is motor or efferent. Now these two horns, they serve as the site of the cell bodies of the neurons which originate and come out through the ventral horn. So all motor neurons which reach the muscles at the end, they arise from cell bodies over here, right? Sensory information जो spinal cord तक पहुंच रहा है, for them the cell bodies are present in the dorsal root ganglia. So this is also present in each of the levels of the spinal cord. and then they enter the dorsal of the spinal cord and end here in different levels. From here the information then gets carried to the brain. So what you see on these aspects, the white matter, this is where the different tracts, sensory tracts ascend to the brain carrying the information, और motor tracts जो brain से information लेके नीचे पहुंच रहा है spinal cord तक. So these are present in this white matter, this columns of the spinal cord here on different sides. Fine. So we'll talk about this in the coming class. So today's class is about orienting you to the different structures. So this is an example of the major motor tract arising from structures over in the cerebral cortex. They course down through the internal capsule and they reach, as you can see, they pass through the midbrain, pons, medulla and finally reach the spinal cord. And in between they also cross to the opposite side. So this is an example of a motor tract. Similarly, you have sensory tracts which ascend from the spinal cord to the brain. Okay. So covering all of this, we'll move to the next topic, that is the neurotransmitter systems of the brain. So let us first see how did all of this start. So he is the scientist, the physiologist who is credited with discovering the chemical transmitters of the brain, Sir Otto Levy. So he was working on cardiogram. So if you open your practical copy, a practical manual book, you will find that there are graphs pertaining to the heart, amphibian heart. So experiments like this form the basis of our early discoveries which helped us understand the working of the heart and other aspects of physiology. So working on a heart, amphibian heart, what he discovered? Ki when he stimulates, vagus stimulation say the heart reduces. I think this much you know. Is also true for human beings. Whenever you stimulate the vagus nerve, the heart rate slows down. Okay. Now amphibian heart में ऐसे ही, when he kept on stimulating the vagus, he could record that the heart rate slows down. But he did not know yet. Now this I am talking before the concept of neurotransmitters was known. So there was no understanding as to how these things were happening. Parasympathetic terminals में, which is the transmitter that is released? It is acetylcholine. And sympathetic terminals में it is epinephrine and norepinephrine. तो ऐसे ही in 1921, मतलब working continuously over all of these things, he had a dream on the Easter Sunday of 1921. The dream में कितने functions हैं? So a lot of such examples. Periodic table came to Mendeleev when he was dreaming. Right? ऐसे बहुत सारे examples और हैं. Benzene का structure, I don't remember the name of the scientist, but the structure of the benzene, that also came to the person in a dream. So similarly, here also there is a very interesting case. Ki next day when he woke up, what he did was, जिस solution में वो heart रखा था पिछले दिन का, so he took the solution in a dropper and he poured some drops of that solution on a fresh heart, and to his surprise, उसमें भी similar type of slowing of heart rate was demonstrated. So this means, this gave you an idea that there was something which was released from the vagus nerve, जो solution में गया, and then when that solution was poured onto a fresh heart and new heart, same type of response was seen. So this is how the concept of chemical transmission was discovered. So some chemical must be present over here. And of course, after this, now we know a lot of transmitters. We have not only discovered, we have also synthesized ourselves a lot of other transmitters. Now time and again we'll come across two terms. कि कुछ जगहों पे आप देखोगे there are words like neurotransmitters and in some places neuromodulators. So what is the difference between all of this? Neuromodulators are substances which modify the effect of neurotransmitters. So they can either prolong the activity of the transmitter or inhibit or limit the activity of the transmitter. Or both of these, they are chemicals. When do you call a substance as a transmitter? First, it has to be released from a presynaptic neuron, right? And the presynaptic neuron must contain the biosynthetic enzymes. Think about the neuromuscular junction that you have studied a few months back, right? Acetylcholine synthesis happening in the presynaptic neuron. So that's why acetylcholine fills up all this criteria. So you can think and compare. Post-synaptic membrane should have receptors for their activity, and external application of the substance should produce a similar type of action on the nerve. So these are the criteria. Any substance which fills all these criteria, you call them as a neurotransmitter. Now there is a classification system. Some of them we call as small molecule transmitters and some of them as large molecule transmitters. Basically, if you see amino acids, acetylcholine and amines, these are the ones which form the small molecule ones, and large molecules you have peptides, right? Different forms of peptides in the large molecule. Small and large, these names come from the structure. Small molecules ones are small, that's why they are called as small, and large molecule transmitters are large, that's why they are called as large. But basic difference you see is in the duration of action. Small molecule transmitters have a short latency of action, meaning they can act instantaneously and they can, their action is also terminated faster. Large molecule ones on the other hand, because they are peptides, their latency is longer and duration also stays for a long time. तो ये जो वेरिएशन आपको इधर दिख रहा है कि somewhere it is short, somewhere it is long acting, this variation comes from two factors. एक, the characteristic of the receptor. Some receptors are short acting, right? And second aspect is degradation of the enzyme or the transmitter. Say in the neuromuscular junction, you have read that there is a transmitter, there is an enzyme which breaks down acetylcholine. Do you remember what is that? Acetylcholine esterase, someone said, yes. So SAE, so the two factors which decide is the receptor properties and the enzyme which degrades, the way by which the transmitter activity is terminated. So they decide whether it is a short or longer latency. So it can be broken down, the action can be terminated either by enzymatic breaking or degradation, as an example of acetylcholine. The presynaptic neuron can also take it back, because see, all these transmitters, the synthesis of the transmitter is an energy exhaustive process. It takes up a lot of ATP, it takes up a lot of chemicals and other raw materials which the neuron has to procure from different parts of the body. So that's why you require that less and less should be wasted. So a lot of neurons, they have a mechanism to take the transmitter back, reuptake. So reuptake is one way by which synaptic cleft pe or receptor pe enzyme activity is stopped. Third is an example, you can see norepinephrine, it can diffuse away from the synapse. And last one is removal by glial cells, right? So glutamate, GABA and glycine, they are removed by the neuroglial cells of the brain. Okay, this picture gives you an idea of the two type of transmitters that we have talked, small molecule and the peptides, the large molecule ones. Additional one that you can see here is gaseous transmitters. So previously, isko alag transmitter, it was not considered to be a separate one, but nowadays it is also considered to be a separate transmitter by itself. Gaseous transmitters like nitric oxide. So nitric oxide within the brain, it can actually diffuse from the presynaptic neuron, bypass the cleft and directly diffuse into the effector of the postsynaptic neuron, right? So if you go by the criteria, it is not fulfilling all the criteria, but function wise it is so distinct and it is so important that now it is considered as a different set of neurotransmitter, gaseous transmitters. So the function, one function I will tell you right now is in the role of learning and memory. Nitric oxide is very important in learning and memory. So let's see some of the transmitters, the major functions of them and where they are present in the brain. 75% of the excitatory impulses of the CNS comes from the glutamate. Brain में जितने activity भी हो रहा है, excitatory activity 75% of it is the transmitter is glutamate in some region of the brain or the other. So major function of glutamate is synaptic plasticity. That means learning and memory. So what is plasticity? Plastic. Why is this property called as plasticity? Plasticity you might also have studied in physics in your school level. Plastic has got no shape of its own, right? तो आप जिस भी मोल्ड में उसको ढालोगे सेम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में it will take up the shape for anything that you put in. Similarly, our synapses of the brain, they have got tremendous flexibility and tremendous plasticity. If you keep on reading one thing again and again, the synapses may changes start happening. So this is the basis of our learning and memory. In a very simplistic way, we'll talk about that in details in the coming classes. GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. This is a majorly inhibitory transmitter. So most of the inhibition in the brain happens through this particular transmitter. Glycine, so excitatory and inhibitory both, right? Acetylcholine. So acetylcholine, it is present in different parts of the body. You have read about the role of acetylcholine in neuromuscular junction. You have also read about this in autonomic ganglia. Sympathetic and parasympathetic system में ganglion में जो transmitter है that is acetylcholine. Brain में कहाँ पे present है? It is present in basal forebrain. It is present in hippocampus and also present in a part of the brain stem. Let us see a diagram. So this diagram is the acetylcholine network of the brain. So you can see this nucleus over here. Brain stem में there is a nucleus, ponto-mesencephalotegmental complex. There are two nuclei present over here. They project to the cerebral cortex in a diffuse fashion, and the functions include, so basal forebrain मैंने आपको बताया था, basal forebrain is present over here. So starting from your wakefulness to sleep, the REM sleep, all of this is governed by acetylcholine. Norepinephrine and epinephrine of, तो एक location जहाँ पे present it is sympathetic terminus of the organs. Brain में the location where it is present is a nucleus called as locus ceruleus. This is a separate set of nucleus which is present again in the same part, you can see, but it is different, locus ceruleus, and this also projects to the brain in this fashion. So functions क्या है उसके? So norepinephrine network in the brain is concerned with the function of arousal, that means a state of wakefulness. It is concerned with attention, which most of you are not paying right now. So stimulus पे when you pay attention, this is governed by the norepinephrine network of the brain. It is also present, important for the function of dreaming. The dream state may be norepinephrine activity is more. Learned behavior, again, this is important. The projections over here. Projections to the amygdala concerned with the regulation of mood. Projections to the hypothalamus concerned with the control of sympathetic nervous system. And as you can see, one set of neurons also take it downwards to the spinal cord. तो पेन पाथवे में जो फाइबर्स हैं, this norepinephrine secreting neurons inhibit that pain transmission. So just as an example, whenever a soldier, when he or she is in the battlefield, their pain threshold actually goes up. They don't feel pain over a lot of things because the sympathetic system of the body is so active, there's so much under stress. So this is an example as to give you an idea how the pain carrying networks are inhibited by norepinephrine. Dopamine, there are two circuits specifically. So one, the one you see in red area arising from the ventral tegmental area, they project to the structures in the basal forebrain and partially projecting to the prefrontal cortex. So this network is important for addiction or addictive behaviors, right? Because this is the network which is concerned with reward. So addiction we start ऐसे ही होता है. So a person takes a substance, the reward circuit of the brain gets activated, and then he keeps on seeking the same motivation, same substance. So reward circuit of the brain is this. All forms of addictive behavior you can attribute the function to this particular part. A disease called schizophrenia also happens when this particular circuit is functional around the circuit becomes altered. You also see a projection in black. So this nuclei gives some type of projections to the structures in the basal ganglia. Motor circuit mein, as I told you, basal ganglia, right? So basal ganglia projections come from this particular network, the one in black. Last one is serotonin. Serotonin is concerned with, again, similar type of pain modulation. It is concerned with emotions and mood. So you can see the network. It is also concerned with arousal and all forms of various mood disorders you can attribute to some type of derangements in the serotonin networks of the brain. So with this we come to an end of three topics that we covered today. Outline of activities of the CNS, the peripheral nervous system, and the neurotransmitter networks of the brain. So next class we will go to the more specific topics. So today's class was only about giving you an overview.